Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Rahman Ali, University of Peshawar. In this lecture number 3 of the course Business Research Method, we are going to talk about scope of the business research. Objective of this lecture is to let the business student know that what are those potential areas where a business student can have a research. During this lecture, we will have a recap of the lecture number 2, that what we discussed in our last lecture, and then we will go to see the functional area of the business, and then a few examples from those functional area as the research problem, and then we will have an outline for the next lecture number 4 of this subject. So as a recap of lecture number 2 that we discussed last time, that was why we need business research and why we go for business research. So in that lecture we discuss about characteristic, objectives and advantages of business research, and you can find that lecture from this YouTube channel. In that last lecture we just highlighted that these are some of the possible areas, functional areas, where a business student can have his or her research. For example, from HR to marketing, customer services, sale, accounting, distribution, R&D, administration and management, production, operation, use of information technology and the businesses, purchasing and legal department, and there are so many other functional areas apart from this list which can be explored and where the business student can have a research. This is also termed as scope of the business research. So let's see a few areas out of those functional domain where a business student can have a research. So that can be a market analysis, financial analysis, brand analysis, product analysis, risk, competition, demand and distribution analysis. And we will see each one of these is the research topic or is the research problem that what a business student will need to focus if he or she is going to opt for market analysis or any other kind of analysis. So if we take the market analysis, so for market analysis quantitative and qualitative technique will be used, and in market analysis what a researcher does. The researcher first need to identify size of that market, then different segments of that market, and then who are the competitors and what's their influence on the market, then spending growths, and then market share and economic environment. So all these aspects are analyzed, critically analyzed, if one has to do his or her research in marketing area. If you go and take an example that if someone is going to start a marketing analysis in the domain of selling mobile phone, so before starting this business he must have to analyze the market. So he will move and he will search the market, that what's the size of the market, that where this mobile phone can be sold out, and what are different segments of this market, who are the customer and who are the competitors for me that will compete me in the market, and then what's their influence on the market. They are powerful competitors, or they are just somehow at the level at which I'm going to start the business. Then what are the spending capacity of the people that will buy these things, and so and so forth. So all these aspects will be explored in detail in a market analysis. If we go and check David Ocker model, he outlined different elements of for a market analysis, and he named it as dimension of the market analysis. So what are those dimension? Size, trend, growth rate, probability, cost distribution, success factor, target market, competition, price, and forecast. It means that before having market analysis, one must have all these dimensions in these key factors and has in her mind to start his market analysis from this aspect, to check size of the market, whether the market is growing up or it's going downward, and if it is growing, then what's the rate of that growth, and profitability ratio, then what will be the cost in current scenario, and in future what will be my distribution channels, and what will be the key success factor for my business, and where I have to target this product, and who will be my competitors, what are the strengths and weaknesses of those competitors which I have to target and focus, and what will be the forecast about the price. So all these things must need to be tackled during a market research. And for this market analysis, one must have to adopt some quantitative and qualitative assessment technique that we will focus in our next lecture, that method of business research. So I'm not going in detail of those methods right now. In next lecture we will talk about those methods. So some of the methods that can be used for market analysis are factor analysis, discriminant cluster analysis, regression analysis, correlation, and logistic regression, and we will try our best to practically look into these techniques for market analysis in our upcoming lectures. Another functional area of business research is the financial analysis. In financial analysis, what an analyst does, an analyst look into the projects, ongoing projects, their budgets, and some finance related issues, and look into the performance and sustainability of those projects. He or she tries to analyze that whether an entity is either stable or it's solvent or it's profitable, that will lead us to a monetary investment or not. So all these aspects are checked by a financial analyst while analyzing the financial situation of a project or of a company. So different methods can be used for financial analysis. Just for example, in financial analysis we look into the performance and trend of the ongoing projects, and this can be done by calculating the financial ratios. In financial ratios, one of the method is profitability ratios, and this can be calculated by dividing the net profit with the sale. So from this we can determine that whether this company or this project is on the profit or it is on the loss. Similarly, brand analysis is another area of research for business students. In brand analysis, it is determined that what people are expecting from your product and what you are providing to them. If you are hitting the demands of the people, then it means that you have branded your product up to some extent. But if you have But if the people demand this and you are providing this, so there is no, you are not targeting any of the requirement of the customer from your product. So you cannot brand your product in this case. But if you are targeting somehow 50% demands of the customer, then you will be in a in overlapping 50% overlapping situation. But if you are fulfilling the demands and the desire of the customer completely, then you are in 100% overlapping situation, and in that case you have fully branded your product in the market. So this is how brand analysis is done, and for knowing this, you must have to assess what your customer, who are your customer, what they are looking for, and who are your competitors, what they are doing, and what are not provided by your competitors, which you have to focus and thus brand your product. But if you look into the branding up an image, branding up your product, then it's not a single task. It's need to have innovation in your product. Your team should be worked in collaboration. There must be some good strategy. You must have to adopt technologies, and you must have to have R&D in your business. So if you are doing all these things, then you can get a certificate of branding your product. Here are a few examples. Tesla company, car manufacturing company, and we all know that they are producing electric car which are eco-friendly, not producing any kind of carbon dioxide or pollution to the environment, and they are technologically advanced as compared to their competitors. Thus, they have branded their car in the market with the low price and high quality and the requirement of the customer. So this is one of the example of branding your product. Another example, we can look into the Nike product, and Nike has their unique style for promoting athletic lifestyle. They provide a comfort level to the athletes while they are doing their sport activity, and hence increasing their performance level. So they have branded it. And if we go and look into the example of Disneyland, what they claim and actually what they are providing is that the happiest palace on the earth, and this they claim, and they do it practically, that there is no such place on the earth which can provide this level of amusement to their visitor. So they have branded their park. Product analysis is another area of research for business student, and in product analysis, what the analysts are doing, the analysts involves examining the product, their feature, cost, availability, quality, appearance, and other aspects. So all these aspects are two different products are matched with each other, and a fair comparison is provided to the customer. Who are doing this product analysis? This product analysis can be done by buyer. If I'm the buyer of a mobile phone, so I visit the market, I checked different companies' mobile from price perspective, from different feature perspective, and quality and look perspective, and then based on my comparison I go and choose one and buy that one. So this can be done by buyer, or this can be done by competitor normally check product of their competitors and tries to find out the fixes and the problem and the limitation, the lacking feature, and then they introduce that feature in their products. Or this product analysis can also be done by third party for the businesses, to let the business know that these are some of the potential area which you can target and come up with a new product. So here from this diagram we can see that if you want to solve a problem, you must have to check feature by feature two different product. This is Samsung mobile, and this is, for example, this is iPhone mobile. So you are checking one feature, same feature of this manufacturer and this manufacturer, then you go and check the design of different feature of iPhone and Samsung, and then feasibility and so on and so forth. So feature wise you are comparing all the products one by one. And nowadays there are so many online websites which can provide you the comparison facility to compare the product. In our next slide we will see some of these websites. If you have observed Top Gear, it is one of the BBC's longest running car reviewing program. What they do, they review performance and specification of different car in this program, and the name of this program is Top Gear Cool Wall. So different feature and specification they are compared during this program. So some of the, as we talked, there are so many comparison websites. Google provide Google Shopping to compare the product. Similarly, so many other shopping.com is one of the top comparing softwares. Similarly, Yahoo and so many others. You would have tried it, and if not, let's see how these can be compared. So let's see Google. We are going to check Google Shopping. So Google Shopping gives you here, they say that's a comparison website produced by owner is Google, and it is launched in 2002, that they compare different products. Google Shopping. So you can find a lot on this Google Shopping. You can search over here and you can compare it. If we go into Yahoo Shopping also provide us the comparison of the product from price perspective, and you can add them into wish list. For example, if I want to search from here are different kind of categories that what you want to compare. For example, I'm going to compare software, and in software Windows 10. For example, I'm going to compare a different version of the Windows 10 from price perspective. Here we can see that Windows 10 Home English version $139 US, Windows 10 Home USB and 64-bit version USA lifetime, this is $250, and so on and so forth. And they also provide you the facility to add this into wish list. If you are interested in this this particular software, so you want to add this into your wish list. And in future, whenever there is any rise and fall in the increase or decrease in the prices, or some new features are included into this Windows 10 Professional, they will alert you. This Yahoo Shopping will alert you of all those changes. Similarly, if we go and check into shopping.com, they can also provide you comparison, and here you can find out the category. And if I'm going to ladies watches and want to compare it over here, so all these are different kinds of watches and I want to compare these two. So I will select it and will compare it. So this engine, this search engine, this comparison engine will compare these two types of watches from feature perspective. This is from price perspective, $98 and $62, and here it is size, and this is different kind of features. It is casual or dress or formal, and this is just swatches. This is white, this is silver, and all the features are enlisted over here. So this is an example of the product analysis tool. We can also have, for a business researcher, we can also have the area of risk analysis to search in this area and perform his or her research activity. What kind of risk analysis is done in this? Identification and management of the potential problem. Here it is identified that what are the threats and what are the potential problems that can arise to my business or to my product in future, and then a proper management solution can be sought out to reduce the effect of this risk. So in risk analysis, what is done? The first step is to identify the possibility of the threat, that whether this threat which we are thinking, how much is the likelihood of this, how much is the likelihood of happening of this threat which I have thought about. So identification of the threat and then assessing an estimation is finding out the likelihood that whether it will be materialized or not. And if it is determined that yes, there are strong chances that this risk will occur, then some risk management strategy is adopted, and that risk management strategy is shared with all the stakeholders to think about the solution to avoid that risk. So if we take an example from the IT industry, so in case of IT, risk are security breaches, hacking, network can be hacked, user IDs and credentials can be hacked. So all these kind of threats are always there in IT projects and in IT industry. So one must have to analyze all those aspects, the weak points, and some strategy need to be adopted. So this is the task of risk analysis. The business student, apart from what we discussed in the previous slides, the business student can also have research and the competitor analysis, and this is very much important. If you know well your competitors, their strength and their weaknesses, you can shape your business accordingly. So what is competitor analysis? A strategy of identifying major competitors, what they are selling, and what are their marketing strategies. Finding out all these things, this is called competitor analysis. And if you are doing this and you can identify all these things, you can come up with the best and solid business strategy. So we can see that first identify your potential customer, who are they, and compare your competitive factors, means what you have and what they have, what you lack and what they lack. You need to compare all those things, and then based on this you can best know that what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses, or what are their strengths and what are our weaknesses, and then you can hit those weaknesses which you have, or you can target those weaknesses which your competitor has. So in this way you can best shape your product, and you can best target the market. Similarly, for business researcher, demand analysis is another area of research. And in demand analysis, what is done? Understanding the customer demand, that what they are demanding, when they are demanding, and with what feature they are demanding. So knowing all these things are come under the domain of the demand analysis. So companies determine if they can successfully enter our market. If they want to enter a market, they must have to analyze the demand. And in demand analysis, the future demand is forecasted and it is manipulated. But keep in mind that demand is always directly inversely proportional to the price. If you keep price of your product high, then you cannot expect high demand from the customer. But if you can reduce, if you keep your price as much low as possible, then you can get more demand from the customer. So there is always a trade-off between these two, that if you are increasing one, you can decrease the profit. Apart from this quantity and price, other factor may also involved in this demand curve, that can be market demand of the product, that can be based on the change in the consumer wealth and population. If population is increasing and wealth is increasing, prosperity is coming, and earning is increases, then the demand can also increase. Similarly, one can have business research in the area of distribution analysis. And distribution is the kind of activity which is external to the business environment, that how the product are shipped to their customer and to their retailer or to their intermediaries. So for this, situational analysis and external analysis are the methods which are used for distribution analysis. And if we go and look into an example, understanding effect of the price changes on stakeholder groups, net benefit of the service project. So this is one of the example of the demand analysis. So this was all about functional area and some examples of the business research that we covered. In our next lecture, we will see that what are those different types of business research or different methods which are used for performing business research, which we discussed so far, and some other which we have not yet discussed. So the methods and types of business research will be discussed in next lecture. If you like this video or this lecture, You can subscribe to this channel, and you can comment your relevant question over here, and we will try our best to answer those questions as a response to the comment. And you can also recommend this to your relevant friend as well. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.